Hello, all. My name is William S. Jagetz. I am the founding principal with Family Financial Management Practice. We are a wealth management firm focused on tax planning and estate planning. We've been at this for about 15 years now. My particular area is tax, estate, and legacy planning for artists and art collectors. What we're going to talk about today is trust and why your art collection or other collectibles should be held in trust. So, a quick definition of a trust: it is an entity that you create and transfer assets to it, so that when you die, those assets aren't yours. They already belong to the trust, and the trust has instructions as to what to do with them. uh, Distribute them immediately or manage them for a specific purpose in a specific way. The difference between a trust and a will is with a trust, you retain control, even from the grave. With a will, you've just given your things away, and the people to whom you've given them will do as they please. The will is probated, and I won't belabor what that means, but it's a process, a legal process whereby your wishes can be contested. It's expensive and time consuming, and the trust is not probated because the trust is an entity like a person, just like you can give your things to whomever you choose. The trust can give your things to whomever it chooses per your instructions, or it can retain those things and use them uh, for the purposes that you delineate. Just like while you're alive, you can do what you want with your stuff. So, that is the quick definition of a trust. There's a lot of information on wills and trusts and estate planning on the internet. So, I won't go over why trusts are better than wills, other than the little bit that I just did, because again, there's a lot of information there already. So that's what a trust is. Why should you put your art collection in a trust? First, I think you want to put, actually, I'm absolutely certain, you want to put your art collection in a separate trust from the rest of your assets. Your homes, your cars, your investment assets, they would go in a trust that would be managed for uh, financial growth. Your art collection is going to be managed differently. It's managed for legacy purposes. So you want that in a separate trust with a trustee who is specifically chosen because they have some knowledge, expertise, relationships in the area of art management, and maybe even specifically the kind of art that you've accumulated or that you create in the event that you are an artist. So, how that works, why it's important. Upon your passing, your art collection will go somewhere. And if you are collecting, then you probably have some intention. You want it to be seen, enjoyed, appreciated, uh, not just sold off and dispersed for as much as can be gotten for it. The first thought for a lot of collectors is to give the collection to a an institution, museum, university, etc. That that's not a bad idea. It's ultimately what you want to happen. But once that happens, again, you've given it away. You've lost control of the asset, and where it goes and what happens to it might not be what you think. Probably won't be what you think. Example, I was at an art show recently, at a university, and they have 12,000 works of art, most of it donated by alumnus, well-intended alumnus. This university doesn't even have an art museum. Lots of that stuff is on the walls in various places around campus. It's seen. I don't know how well it's appreciated, but the vast majority, from what I spoke with the curator, like 8,000 pieces of art are in storage. And they've got a Mark Rothko, and it's in storage. Nobody sees it ever. I don't know if that's what you want with your art collection. Museums, universities, institutions have limited space, limited funds. They'll say thank you. They'll take your art. There will be exhibitions. It will see the light of day. People will enjoy it. But an exhibition's up for 8 weeks, and then it's going in the basement. So, and some of them might be on permanent display, but it's not something that you want. Now, how does a trust make it so that that's not the case? Well, with a trust, you have a trustee who is basically you post memoriam, uh, and that trustee will allow that collection, those works, to be seen where they're appreciated until they're not. And then instead of going in the basement, they can be recalled and sent elsewhere. They can go to other institutions. And your trustee, like I said, this is why your trustee should be someone who has relationships, knows the business, knows the space, because, their next thing is, okay, where else is this going? Which curators do I know? How do we, put this collection in front of the public so that it can be consumed, appreciated, and serves some cultural, appreciative, and educational purposes, which is probably not going to be the focus of any institution you give it to. Even if that is their greater focus, your collection is a very small piece of that, and it won't be their biggest focus. Your trustee has one thing to do, and it is to manage your collection the way you want it managed so that it doesn't find itself into long-term storage for many years, never to be seen by anyone again. So that is why you want your collection in trust. And I know that probably raises as many questions as it answers. And for that reason, we'll be back in a future video to talk about how a trust works a little more specifically, and how you can get that done, and other things that'll be of interest to you, art collectors, artists who are concerned about managing your legacy. Thank you very much.